there's three sections that I go into detail about, but what I want to give you guys today is my current audition technique. And what you want to write down in the notebook is the current steps to your current audition technique. And again, you can do this tonight. What this wants to be is, what am I aiming to do the next time I get an audition? From the moment I see that I have the audition to about an hour afterwards, what are the steps to my process? Because even if an actor has a technique that works for them, or they're in a class that's working for them, or they really do have a way that works best for them, the trap that so many actors are falling into is they're not doing it. They're just winging it, or they're doing a hodgepodge of things. Often, again, going back to fear, because they get so triggered by getting an audition that they can't think straight. And so they end up making it up, right? If you don't have it thought out and planned out, you're not going to reinvent the wheel when the audition comes. And I've read a couple times throughout my life, I've heard that, I don't know how they study this stuff, but they say that like being a professional actor is like, I think the second most adrenalized career that you can have. I think like fireman is first, and then like actor, and then cop and brain surgeon, or something crazy like that. But it's much higher than you would think. And not just actor working on show, but someone auditioning a lot. The adrenaline level that happens in the human being from having to audition, to act, to do what we do is, if you know the information I received was correct, creates more adrenaline than a brain surgeon or a cop. So when we have these highly adrenalized states, we can't think clearly. So we need a game plan. The firemen, the firewoman, the fire people don't wait for the bell to ring and go like, who's doing what? Who's doing the hose? Who's gonna, how are we getting, where do we put our clothes? They train again and again and again. Bell rings, you do this, you slide in the pool, you go here, boom, 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 boom. So they don't have to think, because the adrenaline hits, they're going to a fire, someone might die, can't think. That's what wants to happen once you get the audition sides. Whoop, I don't have to think. I just have to follow a plan. Let me open my notebook and look at my current audition technique and let me follow the steps, okay? It's like a pilot. If there's a pilot who's been a pilot for 25 years and he's training a new pilot and he's going through his checklist, the pilot flying for 25 years, if the new pilot says, you've been doing this for 25 years, do you really need to go through the checklist? Don't you just know it? The pilot doing it for 25 years would say, no, I really need to go through the checklist because this is important shit and there's a lot of adrenaline and you can make mistakes. So I don't have to think. I can be in my adrenalized state and I can just follow the steps. So that's what we want to do, guys. And you can, again, have this starting tonight, because it's not about having the perfect audition technique. It's about having a current one that you can learn from and change as you go. So what I encourage you to do tonight is, wherever you're at with your audition technique, just write out either what you usually do or what you'd like to do. Because maybe what you usually do upon reflection is like, well, I usually smoke a cigarette, I pace around, I go crazy. Okay, well, what would you like to do? What would you want to aim to do? And then write out the steps from the moment you get the sides to about an hour after the audition. And then after the audition, there's a couple questions I encourage my students to ask themselves, one of which is, are there any changes I want to make to my current audition technique? Meaning, after the audition, to sit down with your notebook. And I'll go through a couple more questions you can ask yourself, right? Which is, what was in my power that went well? Not they loved me, not I felt great, not, they said, you're beautiful. No, what's in my power? What's in my power that seemed to go well? Basically, which of the steps of my plan did I show up for? Did I get there early? Did I choose an action and as if? Did I memorize lines wrote for 45 minutes? Did I lay out my clothes the night before? Did I get there early, right? What's in my power that went well? The second question is, what did I learn? Don't overthink it. Just like, what did I learn? Keep it simple, stupid. That's often For years and years, I've been writing things in my notebook like, don't get cute, Greg. Why'd you get cute? Don't be cute. Stay on the action. Stay on the action. Take a tag before if you need to. Things like that. Or it may be like, oh, Jeff Greenberg is a very intense casting director. Don't make a joke with him. I mean, specific things, right? But just anything that you've learned. And then the final question is, what, if any, changes do I want to make to my current audition technique? And that's when you go back to your audition technique and literally rewrite it in your notebook if you want to change anything. If you don't, it's like, nope, these 12 steps, they seem to be working. Great, I'm going for it. I'm going to do the same thing with my next audition. Or, no, I think I want to change some things up. I think I want to try this other way of working. I think I want to try that thing that in Greg's masterclass, I'm going to try to come up with an as if, or I'm going to do that thing that I learned from Leslie Kahn years ago. I want to go back to trying that, whatever it is, but make the changes and then move on.